Good evening everybody, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like my videos, please smash that like button, please do subscribe. I'm here in my flat in Rochester. I'm sure my mum is in Chatham. I haven't answered my mum's phone calls, no, but we're going to see how low people stoop to try and get me to go and see my mother. We see how low people stoop, you know, because they're hiding something. They are hiding something. So they want me to go to my mum's for some reason. Why, I haven't got a clue. Alexa, what's the time, please?
The time is 6:29 p.m.
I don't want any more of those horrible takeaways. They taste nasty. They're full of saturated fat. And obviously, you don't know what's in the takeaway because it doesn't come with what's in it. So I have no idea of what the people cooking it have put in it. I haven't got a clue. And if I'm going to put something in my mouth and eat it, I want to know what's in my food. I want to know what they've put in it. What sort of meat, what sort of oil they're cooking it in. And if I haven't got a list of ingredients, I'm not going to eat it. I don't care how hard it gets, I don't care how tough it gets. This has got to stop. I'm an adult and Jennifer is my mother. And all these men that go around looking like my dad, my father died in 2021. The so-called devil died in 2021. And they are still dressing men up like my father in 2024. And I'm not having any of it. I'll fight it. I don't care how hard it gets. I'm going to fight. Right, so I'm here in my flat this evening by myself. I live alone with my pets and animals. I don't eat fried food. Fried food makes me feel ill. It makes me feel nauseous. It makes me feel sick. So someone is cooking fried chips because I can smell it. You've got the smell of fried food coming through my bedroom window. Fried food. About 6:15, next door's dog started barking. So it's still going on. Next door's dog started barking. About 6:15. I haven't left the building yet to take Max for a walk. I've been tidying up my flat. I've got a big bag of rubbish to throw out into the bin. And it's still light. Since the clocks have gone forward, it's lighter. So I used to take my dog out in the dark. Now I can see everybody. And everybody can see me. Right, so we've had a nice, lovely smell of rancid fried food up my nose in my bedroom. No doubt my mum will ring again. Hello, Genestra, can you please give your mum a call? I'm worried about you. Really? Really? I expect she said that about my dad. Right guys, so it is Tuesday evening and we're fighting this being forced to go up and see my mother every week like I'm a little baby. I don't want to go, is that okay? Is that okay? And you know, I have to go up and get money, do I? I have to go up to get some money. I'd rather go without. And you see, you get dependent. You get dependent on things, like you get dependent on drink and dependent on drugs. When someone keeps giving you money, you get dependent on it. And it's withdrawal symptoms, isn't it? Withdrawal symptoms like cold turkey of drugs, right? You get the shakes, you get the shivers, you get the hot sweats, and drink, you get cold turkey, the shakes. And what do you get when you've run out of money? Well, you just go without, really, don't you? So, good evening, everybody. I'm here in my flat, and I am, I'm indoors. No one can come in. They can't come in and harass me. They can harass me outside. They can take the piss out of me inside. They can ring the buzzer, but they can't come into my flat. They can get dogs barking outside my flat. They can annoy me and piss me off outside my flat, but they can't come inside. Because I won't let them. So what have I been doing? Well, I'm exercising. I've just done a half an hour workout. There's some really, really good fitness videos on YouTube. So I want to get slim waist and a slim stomach. And I want to cut out the calories. So I've been exercising for half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening. And I will get thinner, but it's not because I'm not eating, guys. Okay, it's not because I'm not eating. It's because I got frightened. My cholesterol has gone from medium, moderate to high. And it can cause strokes and heart attacks. So I'm being careful, and eating takeaways is not helping. I have had a takeaway almost every week since my dad passed away. I don't know what these guys have been putting in this takeaway, and I don't mean that in a sinister manner. I mean the content of how many calories is in that food I've been eating and what's in it. So I'm putting a stop to it. And I know I've said it before, that's because I can feel unwell and I give in. And I've got to be strong and not give in. So normally I just watch YouTube videos, listen to maybe an Audible book. So let's see what's on LBC Radio, shall we? Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Pharmacologist and Director of Research at the Centre for Evidence-Based Drug Policy. Thanks very much indeed for coming on, Alex. This was clearly a heated argument that took place in Germany about this legalisation or partial decriminalisation. What do you think it's going to mean for, and this is the worry, potential psychosis?
Hi, Simon. Thanks for having me on. The link between cannabis use and psychosis is still a hotly debated topic in the scientific community, and there's no clear link between the use of cannabis and the development of psychosis, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So more work needs to be done before we can ascertain that, for sure.
Do you believe that, the worry is that you're going to remove a criminal problem and turn it into a health one. Do you think that that's overblown, or do you think that's not an unreasonable position?
Well, the fact is that under the current legislation, people are still using cannabis, and they're doing so in a completely unregulated market, which increases the health risks. People don't know what they're using, and some cannabis can be contaminated. The hope with this new legislation is that it will lead to a more regulated supply and therefore a potentially safer supply of cannabis for the German people.
Yes, although there's unfortunately, Germany would find itself in a bit of an odd position of allowing possession of actually quite large amounts of cannabis, but at the same time making it difficult to purchase it because They're going to have grower associations or social clubs that can be established with up to 500 members. The clubs can grow and distribute the drug on a strictly not-for-profit basis. They're going to be able to grow enough.
Well, that is a concern, and this is why I think that the German legislation doesn't go far enough. Ideally, what we would see is a model similar to the Canadian one, where the production and sale of cannabis is regulated by the government or a corporate entity that is able to supply and meet the demands.
How long before this argument gets a serious airing here?
Well, it's difficult to say. In the run-up to the election, it seems that both Labour and the Conservatives are unwilling to touch upon this issue in any serious way. So we might have to wait a couple of years.
Do you understand the political imperative for doing so? That to loosen up on drug law will not go down well if you want to position yourself as being tough on crime?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the position of being tough on drugs is a good vote winner, but unfortunately it stifles any sort of meaningful debate around the health consequences and the criminal consequences of the status quo, which we know now after 50 years of the Misuse of Drugs Act, it is not a tenable situation.
Alex, good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on. Alex Pio, neuropsychopharmacologist and Director of Research at the Centre for Evidence-Based Drug Policy. I'm normally centre-right in most of my thinking, I think. You know, some bits a bit lefty. On the drug stuff, I cannot for the life of me understand how both the Tories and Labour continue with the status quo. It's clearly not working. People are using drugs, more and more people are smoking, in particular more and more people are smoking cannabis, more and more people are taking cocaine, with the consequences that comes not just for their criminal records but also for their health when it is facilitated entirely by the black market, cut with all kinds of nonsense, made incredibly strong, both cocaine and cannabis. I think Germany is ahead of us. I think a lot of American states are ahead of the UK on this question, and I don't understand why politicians, Conservative and Labour, particularly actually Labour, feel like this is an issue that they can't engage with, that it would be wrong to engage with it, because I think actually the majority of people are several chapters ahead in the book than the political parties are on this. I think most people go, do you know what? People are taking it anyway. If you change the source of where they're getting it from to make it far more regulated and remove the criminal aspect to it, yes, there's a question about health, of course there is, that needs to be looked at, but it's got to be better than what we're doing at the moment. 27 time. Carol's in Finchley. Carol, come to this swastika issue. You understand the context?
To me, yes. I'm Jewish, and I find it absolutely petrifying that the whole idea of freedom of speech and freedom of expression is allowing a symbol that was used by the Nazi Party, really committed to the annihilation of every Jew around the world with their plan. And it's being used to me in exactly that context, because where some people on those marches, and certainly not saying everybody, but some people on those marches are calling for jihad, they're calling for a holy war, and some of those people support Hamas. And Hamas, in exactly the same way, are unashamedly calling for the annihilation of the Jewish state and the Jewish people around the world. And therefore, in this country, to see the police letting something go against Jews, and we are very few, there's so few Jews in this country, there's about 280,000 people and a population of 68 million. We're a very, very small minority, and we feel like a tiny minority who aren't being protected. It's really scary, because this is exactly what happened, where things start being allowed against Jewish people, where they would never be allowed against any other minority, if anything.
You think the police would move in double quick time if that swastika were displayed by a, quote, far-right group?
And a different context. For example, I mean, something I would absolutely never condone, but should be called on immediately to be stopped. But if on the marches people were displaying Ku Klux Klan symbols, it's offensive and it is scary, and it's directed to certain groups of people. And the swastika is directed at Jewish people. When you see any anti-Semitic attacks, matches to gas the Jews. I mean, this is absolute annihilation. This is nothing to do with the war in Israel. This is an excuse to come out with anti-Semitic attacks.
Carol, I think you are right. I think you are 100% right. I think that the context that the police officer needed was right there in front of him. Unfortunately, it was a pro-Palestine march where there have been anti-Semitic chants, there have been anti-Semitic banners, there have been people who have now gained criminal records for supporting proscribed terrorist organisations. In that context, might be in your interest, might be in everyone's interest to just go and have a word with the person who's displaying the swastika. Carol, thank you for the call. Mayors in Westminster, you want to talk about the partial decriminalisation of marijuana in Germany, Mayor? Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Your thoughts?
Yeah. So I think it's a very good thing. A few years ago I moved to LA, and of course in California it's been recreationally legal for quite some time, and I do use it myself when I'm in LA. I find it's a much better alternative for me than conventional pain medication. I have chronic back pain, so when I went to the doctor. Of course, they love to push these really addictive painkillers, pain medication over in the States. And I didn't really want to take that, so I looked for alternatives, and that was one of the alternatives.
Well, at least here now, and again, it's only relatively recently, some people can, although I understand it's very, very difficult to get it, but some people are prescribed marijuana for medical use.
Yes.
But that wouldn't be you. If you were living here, you wouldn't get it for medical use, Mayor.
No, I probably wouldn't. And I think it has a lot of uses. I've seen cancer patients who are on very aggressive chemotherapy who've used it. They don't necessarily smoke it. You can get it in all sorts of forms, gummies and cheese and things like that. And it helps with their wasting away. It helps them, with their appetite and things like that. I think it has a lot of positive uses, and to be able to just go and buy it in the shop, and for it not to be criminalized when it's something that genuinely helps people.
Well, it helps some people. It doesn't help everybody all the time.
True, and I think what I also certainly see is that there is a lot of information and resource about cannabis to help people understand, the risks associated with it.
Well, I just
I think that's also very important.
If we all know that people are going to smoke this, which they are, and as part of that, the only way in which they can access it is through illegal methods, which they do, and those methods contain within them an extra degree of danger because you don't know where you're getting it from, which they do, it seems mad to me to not remove that additional risk. Remove the additional risk created by buying it on the black market from people you don't know. Get it from somewhere that is regulated, that is overseen by somebody that knows it is safe, as safe as it's going to be, like you get in cafes in Amsterdam or indeed in these social clubs in Germany, and do it that way. You assume the risk of smoking this stuff anyway, because it is risky or has more risk than not doing it, but you're going to do it. The status quo is gone. It's finished. But yet, the political parties in this country, I'm afraid, persist with it. Mayor, thank you. 03456060973 is the number. Tom Swarbrick here at 6:46.
Coming up at 7 on LBC, Ian Dale.
How do we get aid into Gaza if aid workers cannot feel safe in carrying out their work? What further pressure can be exerted onto Netanyahu?